I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses because it would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. I am your host, Wayne, joined as always by my partner in crime, the lovely, talented, awesome Miss Tiffany. What's up, ma'am?
I am so glad to have you back on the other side of the screen. I do not like being the center of attention and taking up this whole thing. So
why not? You did a great job.
Well, thanks. I just don't like I don't know. It's just big. It's a lot of me, and I'm just not about it.
Whatever. You need to embrace your awesomeness, Tiffany. You did an amazing job holding down the fort while I was out of town doing the birthday thing with my beautiful granddaughter, Miss CC Cecilia Todoro. Had an awesome weekend.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you got to go out and do that and make new memories. And
that's right. Goony Goo Goo, thank you very much, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was a 3-story cabin, and it was amazing. The whole bottom floor was a pool. It had a little bathroom down there and a washer and dryer, and outside you go outside on that back deck and there's a hot tub. It was so much fun. It was great.
And y'all had a whole game room too.
Yeah, I mean, that made it look a little better than it was in the pictures. There were 2 arcade games, which we used the hell out of.
Yeah.
And then a pool table behind it, which was really cool. So yeah, there was a game room, but it wasn't like a full-blown arcade. Right. But yeah, the cabin was beautiful. The view was to die for. It was amazing. We had a great time. Got to hang out with all but one of my kids. Wasn't able to make it.
Stellar.
Yeah. And then my grandbaby, Miss Cece, she had a great time. Cece and Scarlett, my daughter Scarlett, are only 3 months apart. And they're just the best of friends.
Yeah.
I sent you that video. I don't even know if I posted that video of
with them just they each had this huge bag of chips because they're little, so they
No, I posted that one, but the one with the Play-Doh or the slime where Scarlett was so worried about CC getting it in her hair.
Yeah, she said, "Don't get it in your hair." It was cute.
They love each other. It was a great weekend. Had a blast. but I was able to watch most of your episode Saturday. You killed it. You did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a really good time. Like, I could just listen to Daniel's stories. Like, and, I mean, because we were on there for an hour and 45 minutes. And I mean, he and I talked after the show for an hour more. And I go in the bedroom and it's 12:30 and Zach's sleeping. And I'm like trying to, be very quiet. And then I was on Discord talking to Troy and Ristel. I think we talked until 2. So I didn't go to sleep though. I didn't settle down to go to sleep until 4.
Yeah.
And then Hunter woke me up at 8:30 to go pee.
Well, there was a big UFC fight that night, and it was going on at the same time. And my son paid, Cece's dad paid $100 for this fight.
Oh my!
$98 and something cents. So I had to watch the fight with him, which was great.
Of course.
It lasted like 2:00 in the morning, almost. But yeah, it was really cool. So I was in and out of the episode, but you did a great job. I've watched it since, and you did awesome.
I appreciate that. I get so excited at the beginning, and I'm just like, this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and this is this, and now let's go.
Yeah. All right, we got our guest backstage. He is a fellow volunteer state representative as myself. Mr. Daniel is backstage, going to share some Bigfoot experiences. But before we get to him, y'all know how this works. We have bills to pay. So we're going to go ahead and do that. If you guys are new to the show tonight, we are very happy to have you. We hope that you will stick around and come back. But please, before you leave, hit that subscribe button. It helps us very, very much.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and myself, you can reach out to both of us, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com, and we can get you scheduled for March.
As you heard Tiffany say, paranormalworldproductions.com. That is our website. You can head over there, check out all of the shows under the studio's umbrella. This one, Sasquatch Odyssey, that Bigfoot podcast, which I hear is amazing. Just all kinds of cool stuff over there. Sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter that you get weekly. Doesn't cost you a thing. Pick up some merch, all of that good stuff. But you have to head to paranormalworldproductions.com.
And if you have any questions for our guest this evening, please put them in all capital letters. I highlight them throughout the show. We do a rapid fire Q&A at the end of the show, and it just helps me grab your questions quicker if you put them in all capital letters.
Right. All right, guys, manimalresearch.org is my organization that I founded back in 2019. We have a website that Miss Chris Blaylock has built, and she is the organizer, the administrator of that website. She's doing an amazing job. We have some shirts available for purchase over there, Manimal Research shirts. Head over to manimalresearch.org if you're having Bigfoot on your property or you believe that you are and you need someone to come out and check it out. We are the people to do that for you. If you are interested in becoming a member and doing investigations, you need to head over there and check that out and contact us that way. We would love to talk to you about that. Again, manimalresearch.org. Tiffany, you want to tell them about the membership?
Yeah. So we have our members only Discord, our members only lives, extra content, notification of guests who are going to be coming on in the future before anybody else. We are doing a February free-for-all giveaway. So if you're a current member or if you join to be a member, you will have your name put in a hat, and we will draw from that, and you will get yourself some pretty amazing prizes. So it's just $1.99. We don't agree with charging any more or doing any kind of tiers, or you get so much for $1.99. I just think that it's like Alex said, best damn $1.99 ever spent.
That's right.
Yep. And I mean, the camaraderie of everybody that is in our members, you can't beat it.
Exactly. We do, like Tiffany said, we do members only live videos. Like each, maybe not every week, but 2-3 times a month we do them. Usually on a Friday, we just hang out and watch creepy ass videos and just get scared together. It's a great time. Go over to the Discord, hang out after, talk. We play music. It's a good time. Just we hope that you will consider becoming a member. It would be awesome, and it helps us out so much. Something else that helps us out, if you will see at the bottom right now, you see my Cash App, Wayne Tutherow, or my Venmo, Charles Tutherow. That's me. We have been asking there for a while. You guys were hitting us with super stickers pretty regularly, and we appreciate that so much. We love it. It helps us out more than you know. But YouTube, they like to take their fees, and they are pretty heavy handed on their fees, 30 to 40% sometimes. We have been asking because we need the money more than YouTube. They're billionaires. We are not. So we have been asking if you guys want to help us with a super sticker for whatever amount. We ask that you consider sending it straight to us through Venmo or Cash App. It comes directly to us. We don't have to wait a month like we do with the super stickers. It comes directly to us, and Tiffany and I split everything 50-50. And yeah, we don't have to wait a month to get it. And those fees are nowhere near what they are for YouTube. So if you guys want to help us out, this stuff is not free. What you're seeing tonight is not free. We're paying to do this. So if you want to help us out, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hit us up at either Cash App or Venmo. If you don't want to do that, do the super sticker. That's fine. We don't care. Just either one is fine with us. We appreciate everything that you guys do.
Yes.
All right. All of that out of the way. The bills are paid.
Yay.
One of my members of Manimal Research, Mr. Tim from Mississippi, put me in contact with the gentleman that is backstage, Mr. Daniel, and said that he had been in contact with him. He had some Bigfoot experiences and wanted to share them. This is the first podcast he's ever done. So you guys, please be respectful. Take care of him like you always do. Ask questions, all that good stuff. But yeah, we are happy to have Daniel. And if you're ready, man, we're going to get him out.
Let's go.
Daniel, what's up, buddy?
Not much. I might have a little bit of technical difficulty, but that's just to give y'all a heads up.
Okay. All right. Well, you sound okay right now. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. Before we get into the experiences and stuff that you've had, I want to ask, how long have you been interested in the subject of Bigfoot? What got you started?
Well, what really got me started was hearing some elders on the reservation talk about big, hairy, creatures. And there, at one point, what intrigued me the most was the story of the Chickasaw War on the Bigfoot. And that kind of piqued my interest, but I didn't expect to have my own encounter.
Okay, well, what was that encounter? You want to go ahead and lead us into it?
Well, it all started that I spent the night at my mama's house, and me and my uncle, he put up some coyote traps up in the ridge behind my mama's house, and it was a dark night, but the moon lit up the surrounding areas where you can make out everything. And there was an overcast coming in, and after that overcast, we just headed down from checking our coyote traps. And me and my uncle, we pretty much heard something big and walking around on top of the ridge where we just had come from.
Now, was this in Tennessee, Daniel?
No, this was in Lee County.
What state?
Virginia.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That's fine.
But as we was coming back down, my uncle yelled over to me. He said, "Come here, I want you to see something." And when I got over there to him, he was scared to death. Like, you can tell he was trembling in his voice. He looked up, and we saw the outline of, I'm going to say from the distance that we was standing from it, it had to be at least 8 to 7 foot tall, or 8 to 9 foot tall. It was big. And we saw it, and then it moved behind a big, I'm going to say maple tree, but I think it was more of an oak tree. And this oak tree is like 3-4 foot in diameter to up to about 6 foot in diameter. And there was a dead tree that created like an eave on a house, you know. And it was probably, from the distance that we was at, it was probably about 3 foot from reaching that eave, that little corner piece. And we went up there the next day, and not to mention, it actually chased me and my uncle off that ridge down to an old railroad bed. And when we got down there, we saw a footprint in the gravel. You could barely make it out. But my uncle put his foot there, and it measured. My uncle wears a size 12 in men's boots, and it was like another half a foot to a foot more than his.
Now, don't say not to mention. We need to hear about this thing chasing y'all. How?
Okay.
What happened?
Well, me and my uncle, we, like I said, you know, we was out checking coyote traps, and when we saw it, it saw us. And my uncle, he had an AR-15, and I had a 410. I was scared to death that I was about to start shooting, and my uncle was like, "No, don't shoot it. You just piss it off." So we slowly backed down off the ridge. Then all of a sudden, we heard crashing. Sounded like a train was coming through the woods. And when we got down there, it stopped. It stopped like within 75 to 100 yards of the railroad bed. And then that's when we saw the footprint. And when we saw that footprint, we heard it following us as we was walking down the railroad bed until we took off running down behind my mama's house.
Did you ever see anything?
I questioned my uncle about it. He said, "Do not mention it."
Feel free to mention it.
But
now, I wonder, did your uncle, have you talked to him since to see if maybe he knew something? Like, why would he not want you to mention that?
Well, in the part where this encounter happened, a lot of people don't want to talk about it because other people think, you know, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You didn't see anything. That's the reason that we didn't talk about it. And as the time progressed, I kind of started questioning him more about it, and he actually ended up seeing the same thing. Probably about, I want to say, a year and a half after that. And after I asked him about it, he said he saw it cross the property of my mama's cabin.
Okay. Now, while you believe you guys were getting chased out by this thing, being followed by something.
Yeah.
Did you hear any vocalizations?
I'm sorry, I'm getting more. No, we did not. It was just more. I believe that it just wanted to scare us out of his territory or out of its territory.
Okay. Did you smell anything?
The wind was going in an angle. Say, right here's this, the ridge to go up to the top of the ridge. The wind was moving this way. It was moving away from our noses.
Okay. So no smell. Okay. All right. So what happens next? I didn't mean to interrupt you in your first story, but what takes place?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to say that again.
Well, I mean, so what happens next?
Well, I pushed it to the back of my mind because I had my son to take care of, and I had been working in a lot. And my uncle, he's pretty much stayed away for so long that I don't really get a chance to actually talk to him. And when I mentioned my encounter to my mom, that's when my mom told me she had an encounter, and hers was more able to make out more of the detail of this thing.
All right, awesome. Well, if you don't mind, let's hear your mom's encounter.
My mom's encounter, she was probably about 5, 6 years old. A kid that would know details. They were camping up in an area near my mama's cabin that we call the Flats. And
again, is this in Virginia, Daniel?
Yeah, yes. It's not even. It's probably about 200 to 300 yards from my encounter.
Okay.
My mom, she was camping. They were all camping. Her brother and her sisters, and my mom. My mom heard something coming through the brush and through the woods that it passed between the fireplace and her tent. And she was within, I'm going to say, probably about 2 to 3 feet from this thing. And Mom told me, she said that she could see the hairs on it through the tent as it was walking bipedal. And not even 5 minutes later, my papa came up there and told my mama and my aunts and uncles that we've got to go now. Something spooked him to the point that it forced my mama, my aunts and uncles, and my mom to walk hand in hand in the middle of the forest with no light.
That would be traumatizing. So you're only 3.5 hours from me in Lee County.
Yeah.
I live in Roanoke County. So you're not that far, really.
You're where?
I live in Roanoke County. So you're not far from where I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so, what did you guys make of that? I mean, is that something that she talked about? Did she tell people? I mean, what came of that?
She didn't tell anybody. The only person that she's truly told me or truly told was me, and she wants to get her story out there, but she also doesn't want to be criticized for being like, you didn't see anything. Oh, you're just crazy. The way the old people are up through here.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, is there a big Native American population in that area?
There was at one point in time. Most of the natives that was inhabitant of this area has either died or has been put on reservations.
Are there reservations in the area?
The closest reservation is Cherokee, North Carolina.
Okay, I'm very familiar with Cherokee. Yeah, I'm not very far from there at all. Now, you're a Tennessee boy. You live in Tennessee now, right?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you because it's been kind of.
Yeah, now you live in Tennessee now, right?
Yeah, I live in East Tennessee. I come up here to Lee County to visit with my family.
Okay. Now, have you had any experiences in Tennessee?
I did have one. It wasn't really an experience, but it doesn't involve the Sasquatch. It was more of a ghost than anything, and several UFO sightings, which I know you all don't have time for them.
Oh, we have time, buddy.
We have time, buddy.
Let's hear about the ghosts and the UFO.
Oh, okay. Well, my ghost story, I was a Civil War reenactor growing up. And there was a battle that was probably about 45 minutes on the other side of Morristown. And when I would go and camp out there as a kid with my family, as far as Civil War reenacting goes, we heard phantom cannon fire and we heard phantom musket fire. And when you're in a reenactment group, you got your Union and Confederate separated. The Confederate thought that the Union was the one that was firing the muskets and the cannons, while the Union thought the Confederate was firing the musket and cannons.
Now, what was up with that?
Well, the area that we was doing the reenactment was a well-known battle. It was probably about like a 30-minute battle, nothing major. But during the time of that battle, they took anywhere between 40 to 80 casualties, and the majority of it was due to cannon fire. And the phantom musket part was there was a small skirmish that actually happened during that.
So did you see any ghosts, or was it just because to me that sounds like the residual energy left over. Did you see anything ghost wise?
Me personally, I didn't see anything from that battlefield, but I have been to other battlefields that I have seen things. I can't remember the name of the battlefield, but as the Union was coming out, I could have swore I saw another brigade or another regiment coming out beside them. And I saw the only thing that I could see was movement, because as the sun was beaming down on the trees, it created a shadow, and very little bit of sunlight would, peek through the trees. I saw movement, and I could make out the shape of a flag moving through them trees.
That's stellar. That's so cool.
And so cool. It kind of freaked me out there for a minute, because I thought that there was another reenactment group coming in, And I'm like, well, we ain't got enough Confederate people. Why are they coming in? And then I started doing a little bit more research into the area, and that's when I knew the battle of it.
Yeah, now you said something about aliens, UFOs. Have you experienced what have you experienced with those?
I have experienced UFOs in Sneedville in Hancock County. I watched an old package store, and this old package store, you could see across the river. And one night I was sitting outside talking to my mom, and I so happened to look over towards the river, and I saw what looked to be like a diamond. I mean, you couldn't see the actual metallic part of the craft, as you want to call it, but as far as the craft, you can make out the lines in the distance. It had a blue light on top and a blue light on the bottom of this diamond shape, and it had lights going all the way around it. And then I turned my head back to my mom to get my mom's attention to look at it, and she saw it. Then all of a sudden, it disappeared. We didn't know where it went. We didn't see it go up. We didn't see it go down. We didn't see where it went. And the other UFO experiences that I've had, I've seen a star, what looks to be like a star, zigzag through the sky. And I've seen what looked to be kind of like a jet, but not a jet. It was just like a gray and black. From the distance, this is what it looked like. It looked like a gray and black craft with no sound, no nothing, disappear into the sky. And I saw that, and I sat there and I watched it for a good 15 minutes, watching it cross the sky and then go up.
Well, see, and that's what gets a lot of people with the movement, is because if this was something that was being controlled by a person, they wouldn't be able to handle the G-force that comes with that at all.
Right.
That's what makes you question everything with these crafts.
Yeah.
It does.
Now, Daniel, let me ask you this. We're here to talk about Bigfoot. What do you think a Bigfoot is?
I haven't really. I mean, I have thought about it, and a lot of the same research that I've done into it, they say that they're the missing link between us and apes, but me being a Christian person as I am, I don't really believe that. I believe that they could be another part of a different civilization that was here when we was here. And I believe over time, they just, started growing long hair, started getting bigger because, you got a lot of man-made stuff in the world today. And if you go out into nature, you get to see and grow with your surroundings. Kind of like how people do with hunting. They know their surroundings, they know what to do and everything. But I think that it is another race that has yet to be explored or found.
There you go. So, do you think, if you're saying that it's another race, or are you thinking it's another form of people?
I do believe that it is another form of people, but you've got a lot of genetic mutations in the world, and I believe that they are a genetic mutation of us which gives us, our characteristics. For them, their characteristics is, being at least 7 to 9 feet tall, big, broad shoulders, hair, everything. And I honestly do believe that they are just a genetic mutation of a ancient civilization.
Do you think they have a way of communicating with each other?
I do, especially with wood knocks. We had the telegram, and the telegrams, the Morse code. I believe that is a form of communication for when they're not within shouting distance.
Hmm.
And if they are in shouting distance, they have a different language that we cannot understand, like whoops. Whoops is another form of saying, "Hey, I'm over here." And I've also heard the recording of they call it the Bigfoot chatter.
The Sierra
And it
Sound,
sounds,
Samurai Chatter.
yes, that. And I believe that they have their own form of communication with one another besides how we communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not alone.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people talk about the smell, and I asked you earlier if you had experienced the smell. I guess you haven't, but a lot of people have. What do you think that is?
I believe that it could be a pheromone that they
Okay.
put off. There's some like a dog. You know how a dog will mark its territory?
Yeah.
I believe that the smell is a way of letting predators and humans know that, hey, you're entering my territory and this is your warning. I'm watching you. And it could also be another combination of living out in the wild, because certain areas will have, like in the swamps, the gas smell from the swamps. And I believe that that is another form. And plus, you got to also think they don't usually take a bath, and because you never hear of them taking a bath. You hear of them, crossing streams, crossing rivers, but you never hear of them taking a bath. And I do believe that it's just a way of letting people know, and letting other animals, predators, or whatever know that, hey, you're entering my territory. This is your only warning. Next time you're going to, try to be territorial in a sense. And I believe it's a pheromone.
Yeah. Tiffany just popped up Chris Blaylock's comment, and I agree with her. I think it's a defense mechanism. I think they can control it. I think it's been proven that some of the great apes have the ability to let that out.
Yes.
I don't know if maybe it's as much of a defense mechanism as a skunk, but I believe it is something that they can do. Yeah, I founded my organization, Animal Research, back in 2019. I've been on many, many, many investigations. There are only a couple of things that I haven't experienced, and the smell is one of them. I have not experienced that smell. Have you? Do you believe you have, Daniel?
I I have not experienced the smell. Now I have been down some roads that smell like rotten meat, rotted eggs, stuff like that. But as far as like actually smelling the thing, no.
Okay. Well, another characteristic that people talk about is having things thrown at them. Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, have I experienced the what now? I'm sorry, I didn't get that last part.
Another characteristic of Bigfoot behavior that is believed is having things thrown at them? Have you ever had that
Yes.
happen?
I haven't personally had that happen, but a buddy of mine that lives in Ohio, he's talked to some people that they've had rocks, logs, everything thrown at them.
Rocks and logs.
In your opinion, why do you think they do that? Is it just hey, this is, why do you think that is?
I think that if you're invading their space, they'll throw things to try to scare you out of the area. And my mom, she just told me that she didn't have an encounter like that, but I believe that it's trying to just scare you out of their area.
Well, in talking about your mom's experience, because she was so young, I really think that Bigfoot are drawn to women and children. And that could have been a reason why he came to the campsite is, they're going to hear the voices and pick up on the scents. And I really think that's why he came to see your mom.
I agree. I agree. The reason I agree is because there's been stories that's been indigenous stories to, especially in the Washington and Oregon state, that these creatures or these beings would take children away from the village. And there has been some stories of women being abducted by them.
Now, do you believe that to be accurate?
I do believe that it is to be accurate, because over the course of time, especially with an indigenous people, they have had children end up going missing. And some of the women that would be out either washing clothes or doing sewing or crafts, that they would be snatched and nobody could find them. Now, there has been a story that a woman from a village was snatched, and the only thing they found of her was a piece of her cloth, and that was it.
Damn. All right, very cool. Tiffany, you got anything before we get to the questions?
Yeah, I was going to, and there's a scraper that went up the street, so I muted myself real quick.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I thought I was having difficulties there.
No, that's the plow truck. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
So speaking of missing people, when you look at Bigfoot in relation to the missing people in the national parks and forests and everything, do you think there's any correlation there?
I do. I mean, in a lot of the national parks, you got deep ravines, you got caves, you got all of this. And I believe probably about 60 to 70% of the time that a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot had something to do with it, because if you look at it, if a person goes missing in the forest, someone somewhere would find a bone on a hiking trail because of animals,
Right?
Clothes and stuff like that. But a lot of times you don't find any evidence like that. And I believe that they are a possibility to that missing people in the national parks because, like I said, there's so many different ways to hide that body in the national forest.
Right. Well, and I just recorded a little 15-minute thing over the weekend, and it was I think the 7 wildest, missing persons in the national forest. And the first story was an 8-year-old little girl, and y'all might be familiar with the story. Her name was Catherine Van Oust. She was 8 years old. She was at her campsite or running around with her brothers. There 1 minute, gone the next. They found her 6 days later, inside a cave, and she survived off eating berries, drinking water from the cave, and she said she remembered being asleep in warm grass. So you have all these kids, and some of them who do come back, who were saying, oh, well, like the story of the bear took care of me, or, like in her case. So do you think that's something
Right.
you think a Bigfoot would do, is to care for young, almost similar to theirs?
I believe certain ones can, because you've got different areas that has the same depiction of these beings, and I believe depending on the area depends on how they are towards children. Like most of the Bigfoots around here in the Appalachian is mainly staying reclusive, but I also do believe that they also help young. Doesn't matter if it's their own or a child that's from modern society. But as far as like the Washington, Alaskan, and all that, where you've got these ice melts and raising the water up, food is going to start being scarce, and I believe that's reason why they take children.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious what your opinion was on that. When you brought up missing people, and we're missing people enthusiasts, so I wanted to get your
let's go ahead and jump to some of these questions. There's noise in the background going on. It should be okay. Let's get to some of these questions. First of all, Goony Goo Goo, thank you so much for the super sticker. You're awesome, buddy. We appreciate it. And his wife, Miss Chris Blaylock, asks, is that near the Kentucky border where you were talking about your first encounter?
Yes, it is literally right there on the Virginia and Kentucky line, just down in the valley on the Virginia side. Now, there is a high possibility if somebody is wanting to try to have an encounter with one, go to the Black Mountains here in Lee County. Because the Black Mountains is dense. It has a lot of caves, a lot of water systems, everything. And the Black Mountain is where you would have your best chance of having an encounter or an experience.
Okay. Moving on, Troy. What state was the reenactment in?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. That's a good state. I like Tennessee. All right. Naoma. What's up, ma'am? Hope you're doing well. Have you considered the Nephilim theory?
I have considered it, but I mean, I don't really know how to answer that because I'm still learning about it. But I believe that they could be an offspring of the Nephilim.
Okay.
But I don't know.
All right. Well, that's an honest answer. Miss Chris Blaylock, have you ever, she said even, but I think she meant ever, done any research in the area you live in now?
I have, but as far as my area goes, there was no no encounters, but the research that I've done was that was the Tennessee Wildman, which was on the outskirts of Johnson City.
Okay. All right. Daniel, I appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out with us tonight and share your experiences and answer the questions. I certainly appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Do you have anything you want to promote? Anything you're working on? Anything you want to tell people to check out?
I would like to say one thing. If you all have experiences with Bigfoot or Sasquatch, ghosts, or UFOs, don't be afraid to tell anyone, because there's more and more sightings coming out.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I echo it. Yeah, Daniel, I appreciate it so much that you took the time to come and hang out with us tonight, and I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. I appreciate y'all having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Have a good evening. Bye.
You too.
No. Bye.
Bye.
All right. There you go. Let's get these switched out.
Thank you for putting me on the right side of the screen.
Yeah. You get all flustered when you're on the wrong side, right?
I know, it just doesn't feel natural.
Yeah.
I need to be on the right. That way I'm always right.
You are always right.
Oh my gosh, we got it recorded. It is going to go down in history.
Well, I mean, Mr. T might argue that, but
this is true. This is
all right. Everybody out there, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, being respectful to the guests, great questions. All of that was awesome. We thank you. I do want to throw it out there, and oh my God, I can't even believe I'm going to ask. I'm about to ask Tiffany something live that she is not expecting.
Oh no. That's almost like you need to go to the principal's office, kind of.
This Thursday, 2 days from now, at 7 p.m. Eastern, not 8, but 7, Brian and I will be doing a live over on his channel for That Bigfoot Podcast.
Stellar.
We've been planning on you being there, but we haven't asked you.
Well, you know what? That's just typical men for you. I can't read y'all's minds.
Can you be there?
I will absolutely be there. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
We're going to do a live. Brian and I and Tiffany are going to do a live Thursday with Miss Marianne from the Ozark Mountain Bigfoot Conference. She has compiled an amazing lineup for this year's conference, and she will be revealing it live on our show Thursday, That Bigfoot Podcast, but it's going to be on the Sasquatch Odyssey channel. She will be on to disclose all of that and all of the amazing thing that she has coming up for this year's event. So hope that you guys will tune in over there. Again, it's going to be on Sasquatch Odyssey. Brian, myself, Miss Tiffany, apparently, and Marianne. Guys, it's a good freaking lineup. I'm impressed. It's really cool, the people that she was able to get lined up this year. We are going to announce that, talk about the VIP stuff, the dinner, the camp out, all of that amazing stuff. So we hope that you will be able to tune in over there again Thursday at 7 p.m. on Sasquatch Odyssey.
That will be stellar.
Can you make it?
I can make it, yeah. And when you tell Brian, just say, she said yes. She said yes.
Members, be sure to reach out to Wayne or Tiffany for access to our Discord.
Yes.
You are very, very, very right. All right. You got anything else, madam, before
I don't think so.
we get all up out of here?
I was looking to see. We just talked about who was going to be on next Tuesday. Angie Unruh for her part 2.
Who was that?
Goes Angie Unruh.
Oh yeah, Angie. She did a great job.
Yeah. So she's going to tell us more about her Bigfoot encounters while she's trying to escape allergy season.
That's right.
But at least she's not allergic to Bigfoot.
That's good.
That would suck.
Yeah. Everybody out there, we love you. Tiffany, say your goodbyes, ma'am.
Bye. Thank you for coming and enjoying my partner in crime finally being in his house again. We'll see you Tuesday or
Thursday.
Thursday.
And then Saturday.
It started with the same letter.
Maybe even Friday. We don't know.
I don't know. You never know when we're going to show up.
But for sure, Thursday, Sasquatch Odyssey.
Yes.
All right, guys. Until we talk to y'all again, y'all please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We love you. Goodbye.